was me yesterday. I had painted some papers and made some textured looking papers out of yellow and purple and blue, and as you can see, that's a cat head. And then it was way too big, so I cut it way down, and the idea was I was going to collage a cat together with some painted piece of papers, and all that to say is I'm not doing that now. It's not coming together the way that I had it in my brain, and we're moving on to something else. So sometimes things work and sometimes they don't, and that ain't. All right, what can we do here now? All right, so I have these thicker pieces of cardboard from a packaging that my husband and I got for some cooking thing that we got. Anyways, I have an idea that I want to try out. Let me cut these down a little bit more, straighten this up so I can get it to the right size. That looks straight on the, double check it. This one. Alright, I'll cut that straight too. Alright. So, okay. So these are cut down to 2.5 by 3.5, which is the size for, like, the quote correct size for artist trading cards. I wanted to take a little break from my card deck because I want it to still be fun and I don't want to burn myself out on it. But I've created like 23 of these guys, and these are 3 by 5 cards. Some people have asked in the comments, you know, if they were going to be artist traded cards, you know, and they don't meet the regulation. I tend to hate kind of things where there are a lot of rules. But I did have an idea on making a cat card out of the smaller art where it could be more interactive, and so I'm gonna kind of play with that idea. I might do 3, I might do 1, we'll see how it goes. I gotta get some paper. This is good. Basically, let's see here. Let me go ahead and use that fold. I have this cat picture that I've been really wanting to make something with, because this really inspires me to have cats with nature imprints on them, like these leaves, you know, or other leaves or other nature kind of like imprinted, almost tattoo like. But yeah, so I want to kind of draw winter. And this new idea helps my problem that I made for myself. It's not really a problem, but I defined it as a problem for me, and I was reminded that I'm making up my own rules. So everything that, you know, I said about drawing too big is because of my feeling on that. Because I was doing my cards already for affirmations or tarot or whatever, I think this is a fun little divot over to a new idea that I have. Let's see. All right. Okay. So normally, or I guess in the past, my cards I've done the vellum paper for the cat, but in this case I wanted this to be more durable, and so I'm using thicker cardstock instead of vellum. And yesterday when I had tried this thing, it wasn't working, and it's basically the same positioning of the cat, but I'm going to go ahead and use the tail because it's fitting perfectly here and it's already done, and I can kind of still go with my collage idea that I had when I started this. So I'm kind of blending my recent ideas all together into this new thought. And let's see here. I used some yellow on here. And I used some yellow from the watercolor. Pro tip, I should have erased my pencil lines first. You know, I make things easier when they can be harder. I'm going to do my creek element up here. So basically, each of the cards that I've made in the past, they have a creek element, which is what I call the little blue and green squiggly lines. So I am kind of doing some things that I've already done, combined with some new things I haven't tried before. Exploring and playing is what really feeds me more than the satisfaction of the completion, you know, of the art itself. So I am leaning into that quite a bit here. And let that dry. Need to find my heat gun in all this chaos. Okay, I'm gonna let that keep drying while I work on the texture of the foliage. So I'm either gonna do purple or blue as the plant life. I'm gonna go with a combination. I chose these colors on a split complementary. So basically the complementary color of yellow could be blue or could be purple. If you choose a third color, then you're kind of like taking the edge off, so to speak, of those two colors together. So because I have the creek blue mostly, then I'm going to do the purple on the foliage. I'm not going to do both. Also, I'm going to get this glued on here. Okay, that's good. I'll trim this a little bit because I want it to be crooked. Oopsie. I think I like the tail on top more. That'll work. Over here. Okay. I'm just gonna round the edge of the tail. Okay. I think on this side though, I'm going to put some gesso because this is glossy and I'm worried about that surface not adhering. Clear gesso. I apologize if the air conditioner is making its debut. I really want the windows open. I want to hear the creek and the birds. I briefly thought about putting that in anyways, but that's not what's happening right now. I have to have the air on because of the allergies, so that's the reality of it. And it feels weird to pretend that that's not what is happening. Okay, I'm gonna do blue here. Blue is here. I wonder if I do the whole thing. That might be harder to fold. Oopsie. That's not ready yet. I'm gonna do the whole thing. Okay. So I traced the first cat onto this paper. I might be making it harder to fold, but I also feel like I'm making it more durable. So I'm kind of going with that idea right now. That'll get me on there. Do need to dry that gesso. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I know. In the chaos of moving everything around, I have lost my glue paper. I have to find it or make a new one. But today I'm kind of risking everything and not using the glue paper. Yeah, it's been, I felt a little stuck. I have felt a little uncreative. I have felt a little angst. I have felt a little frustrated, all while being so grateful at the same time, you know? I'm like, why, how am I feeling so, I don't know, for lack of a better words, negative feeling, you know? When things are going so well. Like I feel connected with you, my little community here. I feel blessed where I'm staying and living, and the creek is such a soothing place for me. So, you know, it's a little bit of a mystery, but I'm not gonna live there. I'm just gonna keep going and try not to give it too much of a focus. This isn't gluing very well, so I'm gonna have to go back in there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't always have it figured out. I just know that I have had more days this week than normal of feeling frustrated or angsty or like not bored, but you know, I wanted to break up my card creation and do something a little different. But I still love collage, and I love the cards, and I do love all of that stuff, but I just don't want, I need to break it up. And I guess I need to use an X-Acto on this. I try to limit my X-Acto work because of my arthritis. Every now and then you got to do it. Okay. That's what we have so far. Now the fun part is drawing some leaves, which I might do with some vellum. Get this over here where you can see it. All right, so I've made the shadow shapes on this vellum paper to fit in line with Winter's body here. And then I've gone on the back and went over each line with the charcoal pencil. And now I'm gonna put that onto the purple sheet, and then I can cut out the shapes. Let's see here. Just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna put this on here and rub it. See how that's doing. Okay, I can definitely work with that. I can see it. That's all I need, is to be able to see it. So it's very faint, but it's there. And I can go around and draw with it so that I can actually really see it better. Things are becoming messier. All right. Because I drew them, I don't have to be precise. I can not worry about it. What's kind of cool is the shadows are distorted because of the shape of the body, and so they can take on a little bit more of a distorted shape than if I was like drawing them not as a reflection. I'm hoping that I can cut these with scissors because I don't want to use the X-Acto knife if I don't have to. All right, so my card is kind of meant to go like that. So if I turn this over, then they are not going to be the right way. Are they? I don't know. We're going to trust the process and cut those up now. If your hands are happy, then of course you can choose to, if you're doing something like this, you can choose to use an X-Acto knife. We'll see how I can do with these big scissors. I'm not typically very detail oriented with art or cutting. When I was in college, I was doing graphic design major at the time, and that's what I got my degree, my first degree in, and one of the classes was drafting, and I had to get all of the tools. But I'll tell you what, I realized that I would not be doing that for my life because it's too precise for my brain to be thriving. I think that's why the rules of the cards thing, you know, I've learned myself over the years. And there's a time to follow rules. And if that's your thing and you like to do that stuff, then go for it, man. I am not that person. I'm like, okay, 2.5 by 3.5 is a tiny, tiny thing. So I made this for the tail. Let's see if it actually fits the tail without being, that'll work. All right, so I think it was supposed to go this way, which is a better fit. So I might repaint this side before I continue, because that's really a better thing. So a shift in the work here. Make some purple marks on the flowers. Get some purple watercolor. I really just want these to be textured looking, and it doesn't really matter if white's showing through or if the lines are showing through. That's a plus. And I think I've just given myself a new guideline that I have to follow, which is these outlines are going to be visible unless I cut them out. And I'm thinking of just leaving them and making it work with those. I think some dots would be cool. This texture. I use the term dots loosely. Not quite this, but when they're this small, it's not going to be something you really see or care about. Okay, let's tag that with a heat gun. Take a tea break with my one-sided whiskers cats. All right, so we're gonna get this guy tatted up with some foliage, kind of like that. That's not dry yet. Well, I watched one video on those things, and I can't even remember, is it AECO or ACEO or something like that? And it's something about editing and originals and art cards, but all that to say is I did see through that process that there was a lot of videos there that are out there. If you want more information on the details of creating those, you know, they're there for the taking. And I'm just doing what I'm doing. It's a process video. I'm figuring it out, and with my little idea, it's going to be different. And so I think it'll still qualify as like in the rules of the card, but if it doesn't, that's okay. What do they say about rules? They're made to be broken, right? Certainly no shortage of that in this country right now. I wish I would have taken a picture of where so that would be a tip if you do something like this and you draw the, oh, wait a second, hold on now, I did sort of take a picture, because I did this. So I don't want to get the chalk on there now. I'm going to fold this over. That way I can still see. So this is what I did. Okay, so that one goes here. And this one goes up here. And can I just cut another one? This one is like that. Something like that. So that's my pattern. It's a lot of work. I can use that as a reference. All right, cutting more. Well, I don't think that I could have done 3 of these in a video. So this goes kind of like that. And then I have one more piece. And this goes up here like that. And this comes up here like that. Something like that. And this guy, little tiny piece left over. And a little more purple on this card. Go. So I want to do some pen work now before I glue these down and trim things up and try to fold it. I'm laughing because I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, but it wouldn't be unusual because I've done a lot of art this week that hasn't worked and I haven't recorded it, so why not? My original idea for this wasn't going to have outlines. The shapes were just going to be the lines you saw. So this is a little variance of what I even had planned, because I forgot that when you flip something over and draw it, the right side is going to be backwards. We're going to use it to our advantage, because we're not attached to the outcome, remember? We're attached to the process. That's the plan. And I sure like using this Uniball pen. It's so satisfying for me. And these leaves don't even really have these details, but we're having fun. We're not being photorealistic here. Oh, yeah, I like this a lot better. Okay. Okay, there's one little guy. Kind of done. I'm sure you guys can still see. Oopsie. Oh, I just thought of something. I didn't start with showing you how I came up with the split complementary. So, yeah, I'll do that at the end. I'll show you how I came up with a split complementary color scheme, if that's something that, you know, interests you. I'll put that at the end. This purple was made with the Neocolor 2 crayons and my little watercolor set. I tried to make a, you guys want to see something funny? I tried to make purple with my acrylics that I have on hand, and it turned out kind of like that. It's kind of muddy, and it has no texture at all. So I'm gonna keep it and use it for something, but I like the watercolor texture better. I think I haven't played with acrylic in a while, so I was like, oh, let's try acrylic. Nope. You don't know until you try, right? These leaves are, I think, a The shadow on winter in the photo is, I believe, a buckeye tree, a young buckeye tree, based on the other trees on the property that are like that. But these leaves that I've made from that kind of idea remind me more of orchids. I don't know if you're getting those vibes, but that's what I'm getting. I've never had a green thumb. I would like to have a green thumb, but I've never been there, and I don't know if I try again, if I can do it. My son has a green thumb, and they can grow and make their plants happy and have long lives and everything. I would like to do that, but you know, it hasn't been my reality. I'm pretty proud that I have a pathos that's lived for 3 years. Also a succulent that has lived for 3 years, even though it broke. This is it. It's still alive and still succulenting in our little, we call this Billy Idol. I don't know why, because we named it Owl Billy, and then when he got a spiky hair, it just fit. But yeah, I've kept those two things alive for 3 years, and that's a pretty remarkable accomplishment for me. I do want to grow things, you know, we want our own property, we want to have like things that we grew to eat and stuff like that, so maybe it'll work out. Okay, I've got one little guy left. So for not being in the plan that I had originally, I'm not mad how it turned out with this, because I wasn't going to outline all that, but I kind of like the detailing of those. So, and I do want to outline winter in this as well. But I think I'm going to stop for a minute and move on to transferring the flower shadows over to the cat. And so yeah, this guy goes down here. This guy goes up here. This guy goes something like that. This guy goes something like that. And then this guy goes something like that. That's pretty neat looking. Okay, now we're gonna glue. I'm having less and less confidence about the folding the more layers I put on here. If this actually meets the requirements for an artist trading card, I will be surprised. What is that little booger there? Oh. Piece of something. Okay. Alright. Turn this over. All right. Well, I sure like how that looks. I didn't get enough glue there. Let me get my little glue spatula out. Just wanna... Okay, let's see what we can do here. I think that one's gonna work. And then this is needing some more glue. All right, that's happy. Okay, so this guy's got to get cut off. Figured before I go around and do the line work, I'm gonna get this little extra blue cut off. Do that all together here. Some of my purple's hanging over. Gotta get rid of that. Okay. There's some stuff up here. It's neat to see something coming out of nothing, even though it's different than what you thought maybe that you were gonna do. All right. So the folding part is still possibly going to be the deal breaker on this, but I'm going to go ahead and keep going. I am going to put the line work back where the lines had to be cut to keep the shape. And then I'm gonna do a little line work on winter here. Get there you go. Cut that off because that's a little extra piece on the back there which we don't need. I think I might do a risky thing and put some fur. Let's see if I like that first. Don't like that. Let's see if I like a different thing. I don't think I'm going to do that. Let me see if I'd like purple. No, I'm not going to do that either. All right, it was a thought. Wasn't a good thought. It was a thought. All right, I think that's about the extent of the line work I'm going to do on this. And then I think we're going to move on to the make or break it, which is the folding. I'm going to put a little bit of an outline on the square part of the card. If you remember my art cards, I used a bronze acrylic marker on it. And I've since let that one go to the bin, and I have this gold one, so I'm using that one now. And I'm not going to put this anywhere except for the card. Not really plan on this, but I'm just kind of going with my intuition on, oh, maybe some, oh. Alright, I gotta draw some black that I went over here. Okay. So right now, this is a, let's see, probably a 12-inch piece of art based on a 3.5 by 2.5 card. And now I need to figure out how to fold it so that it fits on the card. I'm gonna get my scoring tool for my book binding. Okay, I've dropped the phone 3 times, and also there is no scoring tool in my bookbinding kit, so that's a whole nother dilemma I have to face. But I'm gonna go ahead and score this the best way I can, and hopefully it'll all work out. First, going to use maybe this part of a pen. Let's see. This might be an epic fail. This might be where it all falls apart. But it might not. It might not all fall apart. It might be okay. Alright, so far things are not looking great. The flowers are popping off, and I have more folding to do. I wonder if I take the head and go this way, that would be better. I'm gonna have to re-glue that flower. So there are already lessons I'm learning, and that's why I like to explore, because I figure things out way better than if I didn't explore. So that needs to be cut to there. And so does this side. See where that ends. Okay. I just had this flash in my head going, do not try this at home, but I want you to try it at home. I want you to play and experiment. So, despite having to glue some stuff down, I have the head folding down this way, the body folding that way, the rest of the body folding that way, and then I think this is gonna have to fold this way. This is hilariously weird. You guys, what do you think of this? What am I doing? Okay, one more fold. One more fold? Two more folds. Wow. Way to make it complicated. I'm gonna go that way. And then this way. He's got the pesky neck to deal with. I'm gonna glue the flowers back down. So, tail, head, bump, bump, and bump. All right. Well, what do you guys think? That's the basic thing I wanted to make. I do need to go through and glue these guys down again, and figure out what to do with this neck piece that sticks out. Let's try see if we can fold it again. Head down. Yeah, that's the neck piece. I don't want to get rid of that. That would be weird. Maybe I can fold it over too. Head down. Okay. Fold it over. Head down. Body folded over. Rest of the body folded over. Tail folded over. Rest of the tail folded over. Ta-da! There we have it. A 2.5 by 3.5 tiny art card that you can fold out to regular size with some separation due to the glue nature of things. What I'll probably do is officially glue it again and then let it dry better before I fold things over again. Let me show you guys how I came up with a split complementary color thing. First thing I'm going to do is figure out my color scheme here using the iPad. And what I like to do is go over to Procreate and just click to new canvas. It doesn't matter because we're not really going to use it, but we can use it. Also, this isn't really a Procreate tutorial, but if you are in Procreate on your iPad, you can go up here to the gallery button and you see that you have palettes and values, harmonies, classic, and disc. So we're going to go to harmonies, and then up here I had already changed it, but you can change it from complementary, which is 2 colors. So anywhere I do the dial, the complementary of that color. So green is pink, yellow is blue, reddish is like light blue. I go over to purple. It gets closer to like lime green and yellow. So you can see that really easily, but what I'm wanting to do is split complementary. And here I can pick out 3 colors, and this is what I'm going to use to decide on the 3 colors I want to use for the cat collage. So I like orange. I'm not using any tissue paper. I'm going to be painting. I like purple. Let's see, purple, yellow, and blue. I like that. So let's do that one. Let's try that one real quick. So we have the purple. Oh, too big. And then we have the yellow. And then we have the blue. And so we're gonna go to our colors and see what we can find, because we're gonna use these 3 colors or a variation of them to create our papers. So let me know what you think of this little funky project in the comments, and if you would want to tackle something like this. I think it was really fun. I had a lot of learning moments, and I'm still processing all of that, but I would definitely explore this again, I think, just because it's different and interesting to me. But yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe. It really helps me, and I hope to see you. My live stream is on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, so hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss that, and keep creating, and remember to be kind to yourself and also to others. And we'll see you next week, or Sunday. Maybe we'll see you Sunday. Meow. Go make something.